I pulled you over? Because you're a Reuben.
So tell me, you were out driving by the airport, am I correct? Or
No,
was this information that you got from someone else?
I have sources.
Okay. And what exactly did your source convey to you about the, I guess the old UPS
Well,
buildings that?
let's frame this up properly.
Okay.
UPS Emory headquarters was leased to UPS through the year 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And as part of that, UPS had to make annual payments to the city for lease of the land and the property. And it was a positive net revenue of a couple million a year.
In the bag, right?
$1 million and change in the bag through 2019.
Okay.
And the city instead decided to cut that lease short and give the building to IRG, letting UPS out for like $7 million
Mm-hmm.
net present value of the lease. And they handed off half the money to IRG, who was then going to market this building and, bring jobs and businesses to Dayton. Now, what makes this complex is that it's on airport property. And airport property is very odd real estate because it's covered by the FAA, and the FAA has very strict rules for security, for the uses that are appropriate, what can be there, what can't. And again, this is inside the fence line of the airport, so this is supposed to be a secure facility in a secure area. And IRG got this money and said, oh yeah, we're going to do this. And the airport, also, the FAA also has requirements that the building must be used for aviation purposes. Otherwise, it has no reason for being there. And the FAA also requires that the building be secured. The FAA requires that it be maintained, the power left on, et cetera, et cetera. When they handed over to IRG, none of those requirements were still required. So the building started slipping into disrepair. Grass started growing in the parking lot, all those sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
And what was there were amazing resources. It had 5 diesel generators for emergency backup power. Those generators each were a kilowatt each, and they were worth about $1 million each new. IRG took those out this weekend and has sold them out on the secondary market. So they probably pocketed another $2.5 million. Now this is on top of the $3.5 million the city gave them to market this building. Just to take over the building, they gave them half the money they got from UPS. That was our money. So they're also now scrapping out the fuel farm, which is a bunch of stainless steel pipes that supplied and handled the fuel that was used to fuel the jets. And as you know, right now, scrap metal prices are high and stainless steel is pretty valuable. So he's cashing that in. When this is all said and done, the building is worth considerably less than when it was handed over to IRG, making them the winner in what I call the undeveloper category of development in Dayton.
Yeah, and I got a question. After they're done taking all the stuff out of here, you had mentioned in your column on your blog at esrati.com that they could walk away and say, hey, we can't sell it. Can they?
Correct.
So there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee to the city that there's no guarantee that the city might ultimately be the landowner once again.
Absolutely, and have the responsibility of tearing down a now worthless building that can't be on airport property because it has no aviation use left to it. This is heard of venture capitalism? This is vulture capitalism.
Would you consider this part of not vulture capitalism, but disaster capitalism, capitalizing in the economy? It's kind of turned into a disaster.
Right. I mean, this was a site that used to employ over 3,000 people.
Yeah, and we've also got the GM plant being sold off for.
Same thing there.
Yeah. They paid, I think, $10 for the facility.
I'm not sure how much, but it was pretty much of a joke.
It was $10. Yeah, I saw it in the the commission meeting.
But the amazing thing was, UPS was paying the taxes, paying the lease, and maintaining the building, and keeping it ready. It had to be ready to be used as an air transport hub until 2019. There was no reason to back out of this deal. The only reason that they went ahead and did it is because somebody got paid off.
Who got paid off?
I'm placing bets on the former airport director, but there's no other excuse.
Urban Crag Climbing Center is a rock gym located in Dayton, Ohio, with 8,000 feet of textured and sculpted vertical terrain ranging from 28 to 56 feet. For more info, go to urbancrag.com or call 937-224-CRAG.
We had a local developer here who had plans to put solar panels on the roof, generate power, and pay the lease for UPS. And UPS was totally interested in it. And then it got subverted by the airport director by him sending the one proposal, the private proposal from our local developer, off to IRG, and then writing a contract for IRG to turn into the city to get this deal.
So you see this... I'm sorry, go again.
Very bizarre stuff.
Yeah, it is. Do you see if this worked out on the airport deal, do you see this as a model for dismantling the rest of untold industrial sites in the city of Dayton?
I'm starting to think that our city commission is more interested in filling up landfills than doing development anymore. I mean, we're spending considerable money tearing down buildings. We're not investing in infrastructure to attract new businesses. We're still creating a tax barricade to having businesses move in. When you take a look at the Kettering Tower, which is de facto the nicest building, the Class A office building in Dayton, and you look at that, it sold for under $10 million, or right around $10 million. This is a building that used to cost $30 million. You have to start wondering, how is this guy going to fill this up when we're letting law firms move from downtown Dayton, where they're paying 2.25% income tax, down to Austin Landing into brand new buildings where they have to pay no income tax. Yet the employees of the Kohl's department store right next door, they have to pay an income tax.
Yeah, and we also have kind of like the proliferation of greens or green-like developments going on. We've got Uber Heights, and I'm not sure if you're familiar. They've got some signs up, and there was a consulting firm that we found out that has plans for the Forest Park Plaza for kind of a similar green-type development. Like, how many greens can we... But that's another subject. Is there anyone that's going to answer for this? Or do you, the paper that
IRG is pretty much untouchable. They've basically walked into many communities, done the same thing, been sued, walked away. They set up everything in shell corporations. If you look at this company's website, it looks like it was done by a 7th grader back in 1995.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is not a class act. The guy came in wearing, a leisure suit into the commission chamber, said, "Thank you very much for the $3.5 million," and walked out.
Well, you really don't know what to say. I mean, it's quite a deal for if you can get it. You see it. Is there an end game to any of this?
There's more stinks going on at the airport right now, but I'm not ready to talk about that yet. But I've got, we have to look at how our tax dollars are being squandered and how people are not paying attention, and it's everywhere.
What's it going to take to get people to pay attention?
I don't know, because last night I got a phone call at home asking me all kinds of questions about higher education in the community, and it was basically asking if I would support a levy for Sinclair again. Mm-hmm. And I have a real problem with that, because the citizens of Montgomery County have been paying for Sinclair for like 25 years, making it the most affordable community college in the country. And yet, under Steve Johnson, they've spent a ton of money and a ton of their time and resources opening up a campus in Warren County which is still a low-price campus for people who do not have to pay a tax to support Sinclair Community College. Why are our tax dollars being subverted and spent and invested in Warren County? And how dare they come back to us and ask for a levy? I mean, this is criminal.
Yeah, and isn't yeah, I mean, I don't see a lack of development or economic problems in Warren County nearly to that of Montgomery County. And it seems like Sinclair is a much more needed entity here.
Well, the fact is, our tax dollars should not be supporting Warren County taxpayers, and that's what we've done, no matter how you slice it or dice it. It's just another example of people being asleep at the wheel.
Anything else you'd like to say? I know you got to get going. But,
time to wake up, people.
Yeah, it's always time to wake up. So be aware. Thank you for your time. I'll let you go. I'm going to throw this up this evening. And you have a great one. If you want to read the rest of this column, it's at Esrati.com, and that's about it.
Thank you.
Hey, you have a great night. Thanks. Bye-bye.